You say you believe in heaven, that death is just a doorway, not an end. But tell me honestly, why does your heart still tremble when you think about dying? Why do your hands grow cold when you imagine your last breath? Maybe it's because somewhere deep inside, we all know that before light, there's silence, before peace, there's truth, and before heaven, there's judgment. Tonight, we'll talk about that moment, the one no one wants to face, when faith meets fear, and the soul finally sees what lies beyond. But tell me honestly, why does your heart still tremble? This contrast between faith and fear is what builds emotional conflict, the key to a powerful hook. Even believers will stop and think, yes, why do I still feel afraid? Hands grow cold, last breath. These are physical sensations of fear. Viewers can feel it as they listen. It awakens empathy and awareness. Tonight, we'll talk about that moment. It sets a cinematic tone, as if you're guiding them into a spiritual unknown. The pacing slows, making them listen with focus. Part 1. The instinct of survival. Before faith, before logic, before even a single word, there is life beating inside us. This heartbeat is not a thought, it's a divine command. Live. When God created us, He didn't just give us a soul, He breathed life into our bodies. That breath carries a sacred code, the will to survive. Every living creature fears death, because life is a reflection of God's own creative love. So when death approaches, your body reacts. Your heart races, your breath quickens, your skin grows cold. It's not that you doubt heaven, it's that your flesh is obeying what it was created for, to hold on to life. Even Jesus, in the Garden of Gethsemane, trembled before the cross. His human body felt the full weight of fear. So if you feel afraid of death, it's not weakness, it's part of your divine design. God wrote that fear into you so that you would value life, not waste it. Part 2. The mind fears what it cannot see now. The mind, the most powerful creation of God within us, has one great limitation. It fears the unknown. We hear of heaven, of peace, of light, but the truth is, none of us have seen it yet. We can't imagine eternity. We can't understand what it means to exist without time, without pain, without body. So, even the most faithful person struggles with a quiet question. What if it's nothingness? What if I'm not ready? What if it's not like I imagined? That uncertainty creates fear. It's not disbelief. It's simply the mind reaching its limit. The soul knows heaven, but the mind cannot picture it. The saints called this the dark night of faith, when belief has to walk where sight cannot. And in that darkness, fear becomes the final test of trust. Part 3. The fear of judgment. Here lies the deepest and most sacred fear, the fear that every soul feels the instant before death, the moment of truth. When the soul leaves the body, it stands naked before God, not in flesh, but in pure reality. There are no masks, no excuses, no shadows to hide behind. Every word, every thought, every act of love or sin, all come alive again before the eyes of eternity. This is why even saints trembled before dying, not because they didn't love God, but because they understood His holiness. Heaven is not a place where imperfection can enter. It's pure light, and when light shines, nothing remains hidden. So, the fear we feel isn't truly about death. It's about being known completely. For the sinner, that can be terrifying. For the faithful, it's humbling. And for the saint, it's the final purification before peace. Part 4. The fear of letting go. attachments of the heart. Every soul carries memories of faces, voices, laughter, the small things that made life feel real. We say we believe in heaven, but our hearts are tied to the people we love on earth. When death approaches, the soul begins to feel the separation, not just from the body, but from everyone it ever loved. A mother feels the ache of leaving her children. A husband still hears his wife's voice. A child still wants to hold their parent's hand. These emotions don't vanish instantly. They cling to the soul like threads of longing. That's why the fear of death is also the fear of losing connection. It's not disbelief in heaven. It's heartbreak at leaving behind the world that shaped you. Even saints felt that tear inside, not for themselves, but for those they'd leave behind. And yet, God uses that pain to purify love, so that when the soul finally lets go, it loves Him completely and freely. Part 5. The silence before eternity. There's a moment, right after the last breath, when everything stops. No sound, no light, no time. The world fades, and all that remains is stillness. It's in this silence that the soul realizes something terrifying and beautiful. I'm still conscious, but my body is gone. This is where many near-death experiences find their first awakening, a feeling of floating, of clarity, of seeing one's body from above. But this silence is not empty. It's the pause before the voice of eternity speaks. In that pause, every soul knows something divine is about to happen. The fear here is not pain, but awe. The awareness that the soul is now in a space where human control ends and God's reality begins. The silence before eternity is not punishment, it's reverence. It's the hush before heaven opens its gates. Part 6. The light and the truth, the moment of judgment. Then comes the moment that changes everything. A light appears, not blinding, but total. It doesn't shine on the soul, it shines through it. Every act of kindness glows with warmth. Every selfish thought flickers like a shadow. And suddenly, the soul understands every choice, every secret, every word, how it shaped eternity. This isn't like a courtroom. It's like standing before absolute truth. You can't lie. You can't hide. You can't defend. You can only see. And in that moment, most souls cry out, not because God condemns them, but because they finally see themselves through His eyes. It's unbearable and beautiful all at once. This is the moment when fear turns to surrender, when the soul says, "Greater than Lord, I am yours" at 7. The freedom of the soul. Once the truth is faced, the fear disappears. The soul feels lighter than it ever did on earth. No more time, no more pain, no more hiding. For the soul ready for heaven, it's like being drawn gently into an ocean of light, a love so deep that all memories of pain dissolve into peace. But for those not yet ready, those still bound by pride, regret, or sin, the soul remains near the world it once loved. It still feels the longing, the pull, the ache, until purification sets it free. This is why prayers for the dead matter, because your prayers can help that soul rise from darkness to light, from fear to rest. One day, your heart will stop, but you won't. You will see. You will remember. You will understand. The fear of death will fade the moment you realize death was never the end, only the beginning of truth. And if this touched your heart, remember to like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Let others hear what faith feels like in its most honest form. Because this message, this moment of reflection, is brought to you by the word of the Catholic. where faith meets the mysteries that live beyond the veil.